Hello, my name is Jason Keith, and today I'm going to talk about the concept called the saying and how it applies to James Holmes, the individual I researched for this project. I will explain what the saying means and how it relates to human development. I will then connect it to the life of James Holmes and show how his experience fits into this idea. What is the saying? The saying is an idea that our past experiences shape who we are and continue to influence us throughout our lives. It suggests that our environment, relationships, and experiences, especially in childhood, have a big impact on our identity and choices as we grow older. Essentially, it highlights how human development is shaped by both our biology and the world around us. We discussed in week 5 how the saying applies to a person's entire lifespan. From childhood to adulthood, we are always changing and growing. This process is influenced by how we think, feel, and interact with others. As we go through life, we face challenges and experiences that shape how we see ourselves and the world. And this doesn't stop when we become adults. It's something we experience at every stage of life. How the saying applies to James Holmes. Now we'll look at how the saying connects to James Holmes, the man responsible for the 2012 Aurora, Colorado movie theater shooting. To understand how his life fits into this idea, we need to look at his early years and how he developed over time. James Holmes was born in 1987. He was smart, but from a young age he seemed to be isolated and had trouble connecting with other people. As a child, he was described as quiet and somewhat lonely. As he got older, these feelings of being disconnected from others only grew. By the time he was a teenager, he started to show signs of depression and lack of social skills, which continued into his young adulthood. When we apply the saying to his life, we can see how these early experiences of isolation and loneliness shaped his identity. The lack of emotional support and feelings of alienation were key factors into how Holmes developed. These experiences created a foundation for a person who, rather than finding healthy ways to deal with his struggles, eventually turned to violence. Stage of human development, adolescence, and emerging adulthood. James Holmes' life is a good example of the challenges people face during adolescence and emerging adulthood. According to Erik Erikson's stages of human development, one of the major tasks during adolescence is figuring out who you are and developing a sense of identity. But for Holmes, this was a difficult task. He didn't have the emotional tools or support to really understand himself, and as a result, he struggled to form a clear sense of who he was. As Holmes moved into emerging adulthood, the struggles didn't go away. This stage of life is about exploring who you want to be in terms of career, relationships, and personal goals. But because Holmes felt so disconnected from others, these challenges became even more overwhelming. He didn't have the healthy coping mechanisms or strong social support he needed to get through this stage in a positive way, which led to even more issues. To sum up, the saying helps us understand how James Holmes' early experiences with isolation and alienation influenced his later choices. His story shows us how important it is to support people, especially during critical stages of their development, like adolescence and emerging adulthood. If these needs are ignored or left unmet, it can lead to serious consequences, as we saw in Holmes' case.